Welcome back to another wiring fiasco video. It seems like all I do is run wires lately. And unfortunately, after this video, I have, I don't know, 2 or 3 more wiring videos I gotta make to wire some things. I just can't get away from wiring at the moment. So a couple weeks ago, I installed the head unit. And at the end of that video, I told you guys subs and amp were imminent. Well, in this video, I got a set of subs and an amp. That's why I have wires running all over the place. As you can see, the power wire is running from the battery to the amp. The remote wire is running from the head unit to the amp. I already ran the RCAs from the head unit to the back in the last video, which I think I told you I filmed something in the last video. For this video, as you can see, the head unit is out one more time because I had to run the remote wire to the head unit, which I am gonna have to feed that remote wire down under the dash and up there. The power wire, I'm really gonna try to go through that grommet. I don't wanna take it through the firewall. I would rather run it through there, but I already have 3 wires running through there, which most of you already know that from the last few videos. But as you can see, I have a set of Kicker 10s, a Harmony amp, and you guys might be wondering, Miller, why do you have a power wire running to the striker? Well, I'm actually using that as a ground because the ground wire is too short. So like normal, I have all the wires ran just to make sure everything works. We gotta check that first before we hide all these wires. Another reason too is I wanna see what rattles in the back because I have some sound deadening if I choose to use it. Now I do know one place I am definitely gonna use it, and that is the back of the license plate. 100% that thing is gonna rattle. So I definitely am gonna put it there. It's only 16 goes to 36. And only the subs are running off the amp. We have success. Everything works. It sounds wonderful, actually. I went 10s because, like I said before, I was looking for bass, but not like bass. You know what I mean? Those 10s sound perfect, and the trunk wasn't even shut yet. What I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna unhook everything, and then I'm gonna get started on rewiring everything, tucking it, hiding it. First things first, though, I'm gonna mount the amp. So I want to mount the amp right there underneath the rear dash. And in doing so, I actually think the better way to do it would be to run all the wires, plug them into the amp, mount the amp underneath the rear dash. Then I know I have all the length of the wire that I need. Then I can zip tie all those wires together, tuck them in behind the trunk carpet. I think that's the route I'm going to take. The wiring, the amp, and the subs all came in one kit. I will leave a link to that in the description below. Again, these are 10s, but I will also leave a link to the 12s down below as well. This seems like a pretty good setup, at least for me. Some of you might want some more bass, but for me, this is gonna be plenty. So we're gonna start running the power wire. Now, I don't have to unhook what I already did to the battery. I just had to unhook the one end of the fuse. So the kit comes with this fuse, comes with the power wire. Take your power wire, cut as much off as you think you need to get to the fuse, strip both ends, run one end into here, and we're gonna end up running the other end into here. It's just an Allen wrench, very easy. So I'm just gonna actually have mine run right there and just fall right there. You got a 10 mil right here for the battery. And then I am gonna try to go through that grommet. This time, I think my first approach will be actually from the inside out. Just because I don't want to really run all of that wire through that little hole because there's not going to be much room because, again, there's 3 wires there. So I'm going to try to go inside out. Hopefully it works. And then I am actually going to run the wire, before I go any further with the power wire anyway, I'm actually going to run the remote wire up underneath the dash, have that come underneath the dash, meet up with the power wire. And then the base controller, I'm actually going to mount that right by the steering wheel under the dashboard, but I'm not going to drill holes. I'm just going to double-sided tape it. And then once I get all those wires to meet down here in the kick panel, I'm actually probably going to run them and zip tie them all together. That way it's only like running one big wire back the car, because all but the base meter, I believe, all mount into the amp on the same side. Zip tie taped to the wire. I'm literally going to cross my fingers hoping this works, but something tells me it's not going to. Yeah, I didn't think so. Let's try it the other way. Same thing with the remote wire, big zip tie. I'm gonna feed it up through here. Again, I hope it works. The power wire worked. Let's hope this works too. I'm gonna have to take this off again. All three wires are ran through the dash and through the grommets. It is now time to run them to the back of the car. I've already pulled the kick panels up. I pulled this B pillar panel up and the one in the rear as well. And then I'm just gonna run them under the back seat, right to the trunk. Now that we have all of our wiring back to the car, it's time to plug everything in. On this side, we have the RCAs, which are already plugged in. In fact, I ran those in the last video when I installed the cameras. When I ordered this setup, it came with a Harman wiring kit. Now, since I just finished installing all the cameras, I don't want to take the radio out again. So while I have it out now, I'm going to put the RCA cables in. That way I don't have to take it out again. Broke out my trusty big zip tie, just like I did all the other wiring on this side, through the dash to the head unit. Now that that part's out of the way, you gotta tuck it up over the vent just to make sure it's out of the way, because you don't want to block your vent. Tuck it down between here. The kick panel is already removed. I'm just gonna run it from the kick panel back. Now that that's back in place, I can actually put the kick panel back on quick. So we have them on the in, And then right here, this little microphone jack, that is where you plug in the bass gauge. Then on the other side, here is your ground, here is the remote in the middle, and here is the power. On mono plus and mono minus, we have obviously the speaker wire going into both of those. Now, I don't know much about amps, but I know that worked, so that's how I'm gonna run it. If any of you have any other tips and tricks that I can wire this better, let me know in the comments below. Before I forget about it, I need to run this ground wire here. I'm just gonna run it under the panel, right underneath in the spare tire, right up through the carpeting. Now I can mount it. Let me get this mounted and I'll get back with you. The last wire I have to run is the speaker wire from the amp to the sub. So I'm gonna make this so you can barely see it. You might see a little bit of it, but hopefully the sub over top of it, you won't even see it at all. Now that the rear is done, I have to connect the two remote cables up here. And how I'm going to do that, I'm just going to use this little splicer right here. That's it. Now the RCAs are already plugged in. I have one going into the green RCA and another one going into the red audio out. Now, before I screw this back in, I'm gonna hook the power up and we're gonna start it up and see if it's working. I pray to God it is. Disconnected it from the battery. Now I'll plug it in, tighten it down. Make sure this one's tight as well. Get a little pull. Yep, we're good. Now, they did supply us with some little coating here that I already put on this piece here, and I will do the same thing running here down the fender. Put the cap back on. Cap is secure. And then we can reinstall . Really good to me. I know. I have no rhythm. Trust me, I know. But all I can say is the 10s, that is plenty for me. I know it's not gonna do it justice. It just won't on the video. You'd have to hear it in person. There's actually very, very little rattle. Very little. I'm extremely surprised. But I'm thinking it's because the subs face down. Yep, that's how they're supposed to be. They're supposed to face down. They are meant for a truck. This thing sounds wonderful. I'm extremely happy with it. The best thing about this is I have so much trunk space. I mean, look how much stuff I can put in here. And I have a lot more space that I can throw a lot more stuff in here. That is awesome. That is exactly what I wanted. I did not want to lose any trunk space. I mean, obviously I lost a very little bit of trunk space, but not a lot. And that's exactly what I was looking for. The bundle came with wires, the amp, and the subs. $369.95 off Amazon. The 12-inch version of this is $389.95 off Amazon, $20 more. How can you go wrong? All the wiring, the amp, and the subs for under 400 bucks, 10 or 12 inches, it doesn't matter. Both links will be down in the description. Feel free to click on them. It'll actually help me out if you choose to purchase them because I am an Amazon affiliate and I earn a little bit off of what you guys do. And if you guys want to help me out at all, check the bottom of the description. Everything is there for you. I could always use a cup of coffee. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, you know what to do. And as always, this was your boy. In the next video, I'm hoping I can stay out of the interior, but that part has to get here. I'll see you then.